Hello friends, welcome to ELS English Literature Studies with Core Harpit. Today we'll discuss main qualities of John Donne's poetry. And friends, I have also discussed John Donne as a love poet, and I've also discussed his poems. If you're interested, you can check playlist John Donne that is available on my channel. And today I will discuss main qualities of John Donne's poetry. So let's get started with today's topic. So friends, as I'm talking about Donne, Donne is different from all his contemporary poets in the sense that he did not follow the same path. Originality is an important characteristic of his poetry. His poetry was not based on conventions, but it was based on his own experiences, right? There is a kind of pattern in his poetry. It is a pattern of progress from body to soul, from flippancy to symptoms of physical love alongside a spiritual consciousness. Donne's religious poetry, it belongs to the later part of his poetic career, and most serious religious poetry was produced after he had been ordained priest in 1615. Search for religion, we can say, is the main theme of his early religious poetry. That is, his search for an emotional experience as he imagines himself to be in the presence of God. Friends, through poetry, he confesses himself as a great sinner, and he also prays at the same time, directly and indirectly, for God's mercy and God's favor. His fear of damnation and his expectation of punishment for his committed sins make him repent, right? His religious poem throw great light upon his complex personality. His poems are a supreme mixture of doubts and faith. In the Holy Sonnets, he relates his spiritual experiences, and these experiences pertain to his fear of death, regret for sins committed by him, fear of God's punishment. While reading his poems, we see that his soul could not find perfect answers to his inner questions, right? And his religious poetry fall into three groups. First one is La Corona, second is Holy Sonnets, and third one is miscellaneous divine poems. And friends, if you like my notes, if you like my video, please hit the like button that acts as a moral support. And if you like it, please share and subscribe my channel also if you have not subscribed till now. So I was talking about his religious poetry that is divided into three groups. When we talk about his first group, that is La Corona, it is also known as the divine poems, right? It is a set of 7 linked sonnets, and 6 out of these 7 are about his meditations on mysteries. The second group of poems is Holy Sonnets, entitled Divine Meditation. It is a series of 19 sacred sonnets, right? And the third one is Miscellaneous Divine Poems. It consists of 15 divine poems belonging to the third group. In the first group, we have a set of 7 poems, sonnets. Then in the second group, we have a series of 19 sacred sonnets. And in the third, we have 15 divine poems. I hope I am clear up to this. Coming to next, now let us talk about main features of his religious poetry, right? Intellectual restlessness, fear of death and damnation, love of God, and hope of salvation. These are the theme of Donne's religious poetry. Now let us firstly talk about intellectual restlessness. Donne was a great intellect. Donne was a great intellect. The main theme of his poetry is own self rather than love or religion. In his poems written between 1602 and 1609 and entitled La Corona, he retained an essential belief in God. He endeavored to seek relief from miserable and depressing everyday existence through his religious poetry, right? And 6 of these sonnets of La Corona are about his meditation on mysteries. Second is about fear of death and damnation. The second group of poems is Holy Sonnets, subtitled Divine Meditation, and as I've already told that it is a series of 19 sacred sonnets, right? His Holy Sonnets reveal the hesitation, anxieties, yearnings, fears of the poet. These are real and convincing. His fear of damnation and his expectation of punishment for sins make him repent. Friends, his sonnets show the eternal conflict between good and evil in the soul of man. The ultimate note is one of supplication for mercy for sins because man is helpless. His holy sonnets belong to the period of doubt and intense inner struggle which preceded Donne's entry into the Church of the England. Now, next point or third feature is hope of salvation, right? In the second group of poems, Holy Sonnets, there is a hope of salvation that subdues the fear of death and damnation. His work is distinguished by its emotional intensity and his capacity to test the paradoxes of faith, human and divine love, and the possibility of salvation. Next is reason packed with wit. Friends, Donne's poems reflect his poetic intelligence. His poems show his ability to fuse thoughts with feelings. His wit is an expression of his wisdom. His main source of wit, we can say, it is his very attitude towards life. His wit has element of complexity. He creates wits by showing variety of moods in his poetry. It reminds me words of Dr. Johnson's. He says that Donne's wit lays in the discovery of the hidden resemblance of dissimilar things. He uses far-fetched images to create wit. For example, I have here poem of Donne, that is in Valediction Forbidding Mourning, where he compares a lover and beloved at home with pair of compasses, right? Similarly, next we have another poem by Donne, that is The Flea. In this poem, he compares flea with marriage bed and marriage temple. Friends, Donne's religious poetry cannot be called mystical poetry. He is always conscious of his environment. He is always conscious of the world in which he lives. He does not forget himself as the mystics do, right? Now, here I would like to introduce term mysticism. What is mysticism? It is the spiritual quest for union with the divine. It is a faith. Mysticism is a faith that directs towards knowledge of God, spiritual truth, or ultimate reality that can be achieved only and only through subjective intuition. Right? Donne was a man of the 17th century England that saw many religious reformation. The fundamental base of Donne's mysticism is deep faith in the day of last judgment, right? The fundamental base is his deep faith in the day of last judgment, right? And the theme of fear of death, the sins of his youth, the way of redemption and mercy of God, all these things dominate his religious poems, his religious sonnets, his holy sonnets and sermons, all that. Donne's effort to find out the ultimate truth becomes evident in his writings. He has been a seeker of truth from his youth to the last day of his life. Throughout his life, he runs after the ultimate truth that finds expression in his love poems and in his religious poems with the help of different moods, with the help of different languages. In Donne's religious poetry, we find a record of his inner conflicts, his inner doubts, his yearnings, and the questions regarding religion arising in his mind. Right? So friends, this is all about today's topic and I hope you will like my content. If you like it, please hit the like button, share and subscribe my channel. Thanks a lot for being a part of this video. Thanks a lot for watching.